Hey, what's up again, everybody? It's Robert184, 2Rs2Bs, GundamReviews.net, and as the Gundam Age-2 spins around there, you'd think that 3 episodes in, 3 episodes now to the second generation, that it would have made its appearance in the anime Gundam Age, and yet we're forced to wait till next week again as the school days are going to wrap up with, fittingly, a graduation ceremony before everybody goes off to war school and their respective fates. So to kick things off with Character of the Week, I've got to go with the pilot of the ZSR, and it's fully revealed here in case anybody didn't know that it's Zeheart Galette. And you get to see, as the students, we've got another time skip. We've had quite a few already in the show, and it looks like we're going to have a lot more to cover the whole 100 years and 50 episodes. But basically, we get to see that over the last few years of their high school, the relationships that they built up with all the friends and at the graduation ceremony, we can just see how much everybody's loved, and of course Asim as well, along with Zeheart, even though he's more of the silent pair. Too bad that his graduation speech was interrupted by the fact that he got arrested at probably one of the worst times you could ever get arrested, at a graduation ceremony. But anyway, he's able to escape, and the duck mode ZSR is going to take him off, but it's his big moments with Asim where he talks about, I've got a reason to fight. It's too bad that we were born on a different planet because otherwise our lives could have been very different, and it's only a matter of time before he puts on a mask and gets a better mobile suit, and their destinies are going to play out. Going into the episode, I figured it was going to be a snap to choose the mobile suit of the week because you'd think with Wolf getting a new debut suit, he's already had, of course, the Genoa's Custom and the GXs and the G-Bouncer, despite its silly name, made its first appearance here, and it did nothing. You'd figured at the end with a big climatic showdown between the ZSR and the Age-1, perhaps in its last appearance, that Wolf would come in and save the day, and instead he did nothing besides deal with a few of the grunt suits, so you can assume that he was off chasing the Dorado, perhaps. But so instead we're left with the ZSR to do all the damage, taking out a couple of Adels and having a lot of fun doing that, it looks like. You could tell that Zeheart has a lot of skills piloting the whole thing, except once he starts facing the Age-1, you can tell that the ZSR, they're setting it up to sell the Recolor high-grade model just this one last time before he's going to get upgraded into something better, because it's just not fast enough to keep up with his skills. But even despite that fact, he's still got the Age-1 down dead to rights, which brings us to the best scene of the episode. With an honorable mention going to the graduation scene where Asim is going to be carried on the shoulders of the bully up to the stage to give his valedictorian address, which seems to have been completely spur of the moment. The scene of the episode has to go to the final confrontation where you'd figure that I thought that they would drag this out a little bit more, that Zeheart would know that Asim was the pilot of the Gundam, but then he wouldn't know vice versa. But instead, when he's got the ZSR with his ZS sword up to the Gundam's neck, dead to rights, and of course you know that all of a sudden Romary is about to get married into the Asano family because she did her best Emily impression and was spying on the whole thing, they both emerge from their cockpits, which is good that they did it on a colony inside rather than waiting till they get to space, and they get to have a big face-off and talk again about their destinies and why did it have to end up this way. Great scene. I really did expect Wolf to jump in, and instead the White Wolf was nowhere to be seen, and instead it was just a pure character moment with the triangle. We didn't get to see very much of the love triangle between the three of them, but you could at least see the friendship with Romary and Asim and Zeheart, and again, all of this is just setting it up for them both to get better mobile suits, and for this duel to continue. So now to some overall impressions of the episode, and if you caught my review of last week's episode, you can tell that I was enjoying the whole school arc thing, and it sort of makes sense that instead of just having the second pilot in the same series just fall into the Gundam's cockpit with the keys, that we're actually going to see the relationship develop in school, and then he's going to join the military and hopefully get handed to it in some sort of a plausible way. Anyway, it doesn't have to be that plausible. But so far, I've been a proponent of this whole school arc. I know a few people haven't enjoyed it, but this episode seemed to be the weakest of the bunch. We did get the big reveal, and we got to see the big moments, but again, they've been relying on montages and things like that instead of just showing us the actual character development. Now, when you've only got like 17, 18 minutes of airtime, it's hard to get a lot packed in, but with 3 episodes, it feels like they could have done a little bit more. So anyway, I'm about ready for them all to go off into space, and we've seen I was actually a lot more excited by the preview of what's coming up next week than what I saw in this episode. It's good that the identities are revealed, although why Zeheart would have to wear a mask from here on in, I'm sure it's just purely written into the contract that Char-related, things like that. But anyway, as a bit of a spoiler, we know who's going to be making a debut next week, and I can't wait. We'll see the Diva and the whole bunch of crew, and we'll find out who Asim's pilot, his Nakama, are going to be, and we'll see what kind of Genoa's 2s or whatever else they're flying, and I can't wait to check that out because this one was a little bit slow, but hopefully things are going to pick up from here, as it's just about time to fully retire that first generation and bring in the next. Anyway, everybody, Robert184, gundam.tk, thanks for watching this, and stay tuned for next week's review. And as always, let me know what you think of the episode and of this review with a comment down below. Always love to hear from you. Anyway, everybody, see you next week, and hopefully the action is picking up once that Age-2 makes its debut. See you next time. Do you remember when the GXs made its debut in that first generation? Yeah, how could I forget? That was a great episode. Yeah, well, this one, not quite so much for the G-Bouncer.